right, it's time now for the game preview presented by Ticketmaster. Here with head coach Kevin Stefanski. Kevin, a lot of changes coming off that game against the Chiefs. We'll start with quarterback. Obviously, you guys are moving from Jameis Winston to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. What went into that decision?
I think when you're making any decision like this, you want to take everything into account. Obviously, Jameis has been a really good player for us, has provided great leadership. Just felt like this was the time to see Dorian. And in order to see Dorian, you want to give him the entire week's worth of preparation. So that's what went into it. Doesn't change our mindset of trying to go down on the road playing good football to find a way to win.
What do you hope that this week of prep can do in this fourth career start for him?
I think it's really important for any young quarterback to get all those reps early, to understand the whys behind plays so they can feel great about executing those plays on Sunday. Obviously, as the backup quarterback, you have to be ready to go in a moment's notice on the second play of the game and those type of things. But when you are the starter, the game plan really is with you in mind, and that was something we felt was important.
What is it about Dorian's game that you like the most?
I think he does a lot of things well. I think he's obviously an athletic young player that can move and has proven over his time with us that he can make plays with his feet. He's also led us down on 2-minute drive. I can think back to the Pittsburgh game, late in that game where we needed a 2-minute drive and he led us down there. So a young player that I think with more reps will only improve.
Another change, obviously, Nick Chubb out for the season after that foot injury against the Chiefs. So now you're going to rely on those guys behind him. What are you expecting out of those guys in these last 3 games?
Well, really disappointed for Nick, and with all the hard work he's put into this, disappointed that it ended that way. Doesn't change how amazing him coming back was in the first place. With that room and those running backs, we have an expectation, we have a very high standard that Nick has set, and it's going to be more opportunities for them. And that's something that is important for these guys to understand, that these opportunities are what you make of them. So obviously Jerome has played a lot for us last couple of years, Pierre Strong as well, Deontay Foreman. These are guys that we kind of know what their skill set is, and we're excited for that opportunity.
Another change, obviously Dustin Hopkins had the week off. Riley Patterson started. Now he's on a new team. Dustin Hopkins back as your starting kicker. How much, I know that was always the plan, but how much do you think and hope that week off benefited him?
I think it will benefit him. I think it did last week. He was really good in practice, and really that swing, there's such a golf parallel there of getting your swing back grooved, if you will. So he looked really good in practice last week. I expect him to bounce back.
All right, second matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals, this time on their territory. What have you seen from them on film that maybe looks different from that Week 7 matchup with you guys?
I think Week 7 feels like ages ago. So obviously there's players in and out for us. There's players in and out for them. There's some schematic things that remain the same. They're still playing at an extremely high level with the quarterback position and the receivers that they have over there. So it's a huge challenge for us. But there are some new faces, and that's where we really have to get to know this team.
Have you seen Joe Burrow improve as the season has gone on, or is he just who he is?
He's a really good player. He seems to improve each game like players will do. He can hurt you in a multitude of ways. If you watch that Tennessee game, he's buying time. Plays going on forever. He's finding people down the field. So he's really a player that can beat you on schedule and can make plays off schedule as well.
And how is your defense, the secondary in particular, gearing up for the second matchup with those weapons like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins?
It's quite the challenge, and one that we know well, having gone against these guys. And certainly in that first game, you have to have a plan. You're trying to slow them down. It's very hard to just completely shut them out, but you're really trying to slow them down.
Their run game is something I think a lot of people are talking about as one of their improvements as the season's gone on. What have you seen from that area, and how are you targeting that as you enter this week against them?
Certainly, I think they have a very sound run scheme, and they make sure when you're trying to defend the pass like all these defenses are, they're taking advantage of some light boxes where the matchups are really favorable to them. And it's a downhill run scheme that you have to be ready to tackle. Defensively,
what are they showing you from the start of the season into now?
More of the same, I'd say, and when I say that, they do a lot. They can be in every type of front you can name. They can play all sorts of coverages. They have really skilled players, particularly Trey Hendrickson is a really, really good player that you have to be aware of him on every single play. But when you're going up against this defense, you have to be ready to face multiple fronts and multiple coverages.
Is Dorian's ability to move on his legs beneficial to that? Is that something that you have to work with him this week to know how to navigate through that?
It can be. Any quarterback with the mobility like Dorian has to understand when to use that mobility and when to stay in the pocket and use your arm in those moments. But that's something that he's really done and perfected really his whole life.
We've talked about the whys for the rest of this season, and some of the guys have been talking about how it would be fun to maybe spoil the season for an AFC North opponent. you find the fun in that as well, or are you just business every day?
To me, we're competing every single day, and we're going up against a division opponent. That's good enough for me.
All right, thanks so much, Coach, and good luck on Sunday.
Thanks, Cam.